I really don't like words like
Hello,
honest.
and welcome to my very first Love Talks, where with these I just want to talk about different people and things, or just anything really. It's basically a discussion, but where I actually talk instead of write about it. And so today, being that it's August 2nd, I do want to honor James Baldwin because today is his birthday. But I just wanted to honor him today because not many people know who he is. A lot of us have heard of him, and I was one of the ones that just thought of him as like a singular thing. But now I know much more about him, and I want to go ahead and talk about it. So, his father was a son of a slave, so that means that his grandfather was an actual slave. And at a young age, James Baldwin actually became a preacher. He was 14 when he was put over a pulpit, and at that age as well, he realized that he didn't want to do that. That he felt like religion, especially Christianity, because that's the main religion for Black people, was another form of slavery, and he felt like he was just pushing forth a lie, and he didn't want to be part of that. And also, we all know, well, not all of us, but those of us who do know, that he wrote a lot of books, and so he was a great novelist. It's like too many books to really count, but he also was an activist too. A lot of people may not know that because that's not really talked about when people talk about him. It's usually just about the books he wrote and how he moved to France and stuff like that. But he actually was very vocal about a lot of the oppression and things like that from the time period he was born in, because he was born on August 2nd, 1924. So you can imagine he's seen a lot of stuff in his lifetime that was really harsh. And I'll actually touch on that a little bit later. But I have been watching so many documentaries and speeches where he's not holding back about white supremacy. And let me go ahead and say this, get it out of the way. This video and all my videos aren't race versus race, it's just facts. So white supremacy is real. There's no need to pretend like it's not. And so he dealt with that, like the elephant in the room, he didn't let it sit there type thing. Like you ask him a question, he'll give you a real answer, and I really like that about him. And he was a true intellectual, but it's sad that major sources are discrediting him or not really giving him his credit. And when I say major sources, I'm talking about Google, because obviously most of us go straight to Google when we're researching stuff. You know, Google's like the world's largest search engine, as far as I know. As far as most of us know, like nobody really says anything but let me Google it or look it up on Google, stuff like that. When you read the movie description, it's literally basically the same thing that his book is about, a 1970s love story. But when you read the description, it never acknowledges, based on the novel written by, how most stuff does. It doesn't do that for his stuff. And then with Go Tell It on the Mountain, the description makes no sense. The picture looks like it should have something to do with him, but it doesn't. And it's like, why is that Google's fault? Because it's Google. Like, they literally have all the information on the internet, period. And it's like, it showed me, his books and stuff, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. You're gonna get it if you're gonna get what I'm saying, but it's like, if you don't, I'll try and explain it. But it's like, it's just like me having all the books in the world, but if you ask me a question about something, I give you the wrong information, but it's right there in front of both of us, Also, what I noticed with Google is when I was just curious about how many books he wrote. It's like, it said at least 8. And like I said, there's so many up there. Like, I did a quick count, and I counted at least 30, and there's so many more. And it's just kind of like, I take that as not so much discrediting, but like, again, it has all the information, and you put at least 8. Why not at least 30? Because like I said, I counted, and I got 30 like that, and that's the internet. Like, everything goes like that. So I just feel like that's kind of disrespectful, because if someone didn't really care to look further, or they had to do a project on him, they're like, oh, he wrote at least 8 books, and they would just throw all these movies are associated with it. But like, no, not everyone really looks deep into stuff, and that's a problem, especially with the internet nowadays. Like, it's like it made a lot of us lazy, and we don't really want to look more into anything anymore. But one of the books that did stand out to me, that I really want to read, buy, and like study and all that stuff, is called The Fire Next Time. And it's a combination of 2 essays, or actually letters, written to his nephew, James Baldwin's nephew. But the letters, one is regarding race in America 100 years after emancipation, and the other is the relationship between race and religion in America. And I think this was written in 1963. Yep, 1963 time period. And I'm really interested in it because a lot of that still has to do with today, even though, yeah, emancipation was like 150 years ago, whatever. It's like, what's different, other than we're not forced to work in the crop field and stuff like that, but we still have to or a lot of us have to work jobs we don't want to, and it's a lot of stuff we don't want to do still that we do. And it's like a lot of times we just feel like we have to, but we don't realize we don't. And so one of the last books he actually was working on, like literally before he died, was called Remember This House. It was a collection of memoirs from Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and Martin Luther King Jr. I read that he only was able to write, about 30 pages before he passed. And the movie I Am Not Your Negro actually was developed from that, so I want to watch that actually. But me being me with my conspiracy thoughts and ideas, I really feel like he was murdered because he was writing that book, because those two were murdered. I don't know much about Medgar Evers, like I said, but I know those two were murdered. So, and yes, Martin Luther was shot from the 2nd floor of the hotel, and Malcolm was shot at a meeting, but that doesn't mean it wasn't set up. But that's my conspiracies, and we're not here for that, so I'm gonna move on. But I definitely feel like he had a lot he wanted to put into that, and it was gonna be like just so incredible. So I want to see if I can even read those 30 pages, but I definitely want to watch that book, and watch that movie that was based on that book, and at least see with that it said that that's where that movie came from. So that's what I mean by like you can connect with some stuff, but the other stuff that legit, But like I said, I really do believe that on December 1st, 1987, he was murdered because of that last book. But I'm not here for my conspiracy theories. I really mainly just wanted to speak on him. And one more thing that I learned about him that I didn't have to write down. I just was learning some good information from a good friend who he's actually one of her favorite all-time like writers, and we were just talking about how he actually was homosexual. And looking at his speeches and stuff like that, I actually would have never guessed it. And so I was just talking with her about that. And like I said, I'm gonna do more on him in the future, and I'm gonna cover all of that. But I just find it interesting that he still was very active about darker skinned people, blacks, about the suppressed and oppressed people. And it's like, I don't have much to say about homosexuality, because it's like, it kind of is what it is. But it's like, I just think it's really interesting and honorable that like he still was black first, because I feel like a lot of times in our society today we're something else before we're our race. And I get it, everybody has their own opinion and things like that, and people don't agree with homosexuality, but you can't discredit him just because he was gay. Like, you can't say, oh, he didn't care about black people because he was gay. Like, that man was doing speeches everywhere and telling white people to their face how they was racist and stuff. And who does that today? You know? And then, I'm not coming at anybody, but I don't really see a lot of people in the LGBT community speaking up for blacks either. Like, you know? He did it though, before there was even an LGBT community, you know? And I just want to encourage, if anybody that is homosexual is watching this, to think about that. Like, I'm not saying you have to go and give speeches or rallies and stuff like that, but it's like, you know, you're that first. Like, when people see you, they see that. They don't, oh, he must be gay. Like, no one says that. So it's like, he knew that, you know? James knew that, okay, I'm black first, or whatever, and everything else I want to do comes after that, but I want my people to get their stuff together, pretty much. Like, he wants so much more for us, and it's just so much I can really say. I was actually trying to keep this video kind of short, but it's like, I really picked someone that, like, you can't have a short conversation about, and that's why I definitely want to come back to him, because there's so much more I want to learn about him first, and read some of his books, and things like that. And it's like, I'm excited to learn about him, because he's one of our ancestors, whether you want to agree or not. He came before us. He made a pathway. He's a writer. He's inspired plenty of people. I know one of them, you know, and you can't take that away from him, you know. And if you really disagree with him because he was gay, like, you should really think about that, because what have a lot of the straight men done for our society either, you know? Yes, there's some. I know some of us just thought of some, but it's like, you can't look at it like that. You gotta look at it what they did for the whole, because him being gay had everything to do with him. You know, he wasn't out here saying we all need to do it. He was just living his life, but he really tried to make sure he always, you know, had our interest at heart, you know? So it's just some things to think about. You know, it's one of the many love talks that I'm gonna create. I'm really excited about it. I don't do myself on video much, so this is about to be a journey, and I'm excited for it because I'm learning a lot on the way, and I just want to share it. But if you have any comments, feel free to leave them. Also, you know, be on the lookout later this month. I'm going to be doing more love talks, and then also videos where I honor different artists on their birthday and stuff like that. So actually be covers and stuff like that. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day, and just think about the things I talked about.
What those words mean. Any more than I really know what such words as democracy or peace loving or warlike or integration mean. And yet, one's compelled to recognize that all these imprecise words are kind of attempts made by us all to get to something which is real and which lives behind the word. Whether I like it or not, for example, and no matter what I call myself, I suppose the only word for me when the chips are down is that I am an artist. There is such a thing. There is such a thing as integrity. Some people are noble. There is such a thing as courage.